afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday afternoon. It is 4:30 p.m. Eastern, and I am so excited to be here with you today. I am even more excited to announce the launch of My Soul Group. So if you go to marialeggett.com/my soul group, this is an online membership that I have released for you. It has three separate soul levels. There is the awakened soul, the empowered soul, and the enlightened soul. And each level offers something different for you on your spiritual journey. So if you're new to this or you're not really sure how to connect with your guides, you want to learn to manifest the life that you want, this is the membership for you. In the Awakened Soul, we go through and we start meeting your inner band of guides, learning how to work with them and how to use them in our life. In the Empowered Soul level, you get the Awakened Soul level, of course, plus we're going to be doing moon ceremonies to manifest all of this. And there's going to be classes on 12 different archangels. And then we have the Enlightened Soul level, which gets all the other stuff, plus one-to-one group coaching, and I'm only allowing 10 people in the Enlightened Soul. So in these three different levels, we're going to learn how to work with spirit. We're going to learn how to manifest the life that we want. And it's really important to me that we start addressing imposter syndrome because we've been conditioned as children to not listen to spirit, to not do certain things. And so now I'm going to teach you through all of my experiences. So I'm going to share very deeply with my past journey and all the things that I have been through to help you get through imposter syndrome, break the resistance of listening to spirit, embrace your connection, learning to trust, learning to get through all the things that you need to do in order to embrace your spiritual journey through My Soul Group with me, Maria Leggett. So go to marialeggett.com/my soul group. And with that, I want to welcome Elena to the show. Hi, Elena. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. How may I help you today?
I don't really know. I was wondering if maybe there was um, any of my past loved ones um, that like could come through. I don't know if you do that.
Of course, absolutely. Is there anybody specific you're looking to talk to?
Um,
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can. I just wanted to know if there was anybody specific that you wanted to talk to.
Yeah, if possible, my cousin Johnny or my uncle Billy. For
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's see what we can get. Oh, Mother,
okay.
Father, God, thank you very much for this moment in time. Thank you for allowing me to be of service to Elena today. As we open the door to communication with the great I am presence, we know that all words spoken will be with your wisdom, truth, love, and understanding in the highest. In this moment, we ask for the veil to be lifted and any crossover loved one, ancestor, spirit, guide, spirit, animal to please come through with messages from Elena on her highest good. Amen. Um, so I want to talk about I have a younger male who steps in, and I feel him as though he would be in his early to mid 20s. He doesn't feel very old to me. And definitely a younger soul, as in maturity wise, wanting to play, wanting to have fun, not always taking life very seriously. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, And he talks to me, thank you very much. He takes me right deep down into his heart. And he talks to me about he talks to me about how you having some difficulty in moving through some difficult energy of your own. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay. He wants you to know that you are being loved and supported by everyone on the other side. Um, okay, why are you? I don't. He's showing me a silver spoon. I don't quite know what that means, and I feel like I'm like digging down into like a milkshake or ice cream or something. Um, and so
Mm,
I'm just asking him, what does this mean? What is this? And he says to me that life is much sweeter than we often allow it to be because we can get so caught up in the difficult things that life has to offer that we forget to treat ourselves and do good things for ourselves. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah, it does. It makes a
Um,
lot of sense.
do you have a question? Do you have a question that you want to ask him?
Um, is there any signs he like brings to me, like maybe birds or anything?
Okay, so what do you bring to her? So here's what I want to tell you. I don't see it as a bird, but I want to talk about feathers. You finding feathers along the way. So that could be on a bird, but I see it more as a single feather. And this could be like with a goose down vest or a goose down shirt or goose down comforters that we have, even being on a walk and finding feathers along the way in places that we don't expect them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and he says it's a way for you to remember. Um, what is this? There's a song that goes with this. There's a song about lift. I can't think of the name of the song, but there are songs that go with lifting yourself up and pulling yourself up out of situations and being able to look down at them and recognizing I don't have to sit in this super difficult energy. I can look at it and go, okay, what lesson is there for me to learn? And he says that he wants you to know that you don't have to be as stubborn as he is. And he kind of chuckles about that because he says to me, I didn't always listen when I was supposed to, and that you don't have to be as stubborn as him. Does that make sense to you?
yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And he says
Yeah,
that he wants you to have a better life than he did. Um, and he says that he wants everybody to know that any pain that he caused, he has true regret and wants everybody to know that he's sorry for any upset or discourse that he may have caused in the family, but for everybody to know that he is okay on the other side and he's working through all of this stuff. Because he shows it
yeah,
to me as though he gives me this image of, you know, how some people are like really afraid of Rottweilers and they're actually pretty fairly easygoing dogs. But then you see a
yeah,
Chihuahua, and the Chihuahuas are the ones you have to watch out for because they have this really nasty bite.
yeah,
He gives
yeah,
me
yeah,
that image and tells he gives me that image and tells me that his words can have this really nasty bite to them. And he shows it to me as though there was always this like trigger coming up in him where he was just kind of angry about things and he didn't know how to
yeah,
process his anger. Does that make sense?
yeah. Definitely. I totally understand that. Yeah,
And yeah, and he says that it's really important that the family, because he shows me there's a divider between the family. Like not everybody talks, not everybody gets along. And he says, you know, if everybody could just sit down and have a conversation where not everybody feels like everybody's right and be open to hearing, okay, here's how you hurt my feelings and accepting that and saying, I'm
yeah,
sorry, then the dynamics in the family would be very different. Does that make sense?
yeah. That makes so much sense. Definitely.
And and he says that this is what he hopes for you and your children because he says that you don't want to go through a lot of the same things. Because he shows it to me. He puts his hand on top of my head and like pushes me downward. And he talks to me about you being kind of repressed in your family and not being able to share and say the things that you need to say. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And he tells me that you are determined to make sure that your children will have a voice, and that you are
Yeah.
not giving the same type of consequences to your children that you experience. And so there are family members who are saying you're being too easy, you're being too this, and that it really frustrates
Yeah.
you because you want to respond and go, well, I don't want them to feel like crap like I did. So I'm doing what I want to do.
Right.
And he says
Yeah.
that you are making all the right choices to not worry about that. The only thing that he would ask for you to do is to learn to heal those wounds, because he shows it to me as though there's a lot of forgiveness that needs to happen between you and the people who raised you. Does that make sense?
You 100%. Yeah.
So he says,
100%.
if you can find forgiveness and understand that, and this is not an excuse, mind you, but he wants you to understand that they raised you in the same way that they were raised. So they want to make sure that he wants to make sure that you are okay and can forgive them for being raised that way, and that you're just going to make different choices and to allow
Yeah.
yourself to continue being an amazing mom. Because he looks at me and he goes, listen, she's trying every single day to be better, and some days are better than others, but let her know she's doing it, and all of us on the other side are proud of her for all of the changes that she's making. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
He says that you
Yeah.
really needed to hear that. He says you really needed to hear that today. And he gives me the symbol of the folded hands, which is, I want you to know that I love you and that we're pulling for you and supporting you from the other side. So, with that, Elena, I want to thank you for being on the show. I appreciate you very much. And I want to thank everybody else for being here and watching me. And don't forget, if you would like to talk to your spirit guides and learn how to do what I do, you can go to marialeggett.com/mysoulgroup and sign up for one of the 3 different soul levels offered. Thank you very much and have a great day. See you next week.